Starter for today's first row, we have Bobsleigh, Allen, Walker, Skeleton, Weltcup.
Ja, natuurlijk, correct zie je. Slag nummer 1 vandaag. We zijn er belangrijk.
Na biegu. Na biegu. A, pierwszy.
Good morning and welcome back to Lillehammer in Norway as we get ready for the final day of this first weekend of sliding here in this 1994 Winter Olympic venue. And after another cold overnight low, expect the track to be fast for our women's bobsleigh competition, the sixth and penultimate race of the season. We're not going to get the chance to make up the race that we lost in St. Moritz. But today should be entertaining nevertheless. They'll race here this weekend and next to round out the season, so that will give the athletes a chance to really dig themselves into this track. Start record by the USA's Keisha Love. It was a return to the World Cup for the first time in 20 years here last year. First couple of corners, gentle and slow. Try and avoid losing speed here, you'll never get it back. Out of corner 4 to 5, little short shoot, try and avoid a tap on the left. And then 180-degree corner 6 leads you down into the labyrinth. Late height in 7, try and keep the height late in 8 as well there, onto 9, and then corner 10. This leads you down into 11, and then a little short straight to corner 12. 12 to 13, an important transition. 13 builds your speed further down, along into 14, and then corner 15 and 16, the final 2 turns on this track. It's busy all the way down. Kim Killicky is the track record holder. In the joint gold medal position yesterday with Keisha Love. Bree finished 5th last season in the women's bobsleigh. Melanie Passner, 4th place yesterday, European silver medalist. And Keisha Love, her 3rd career gold in the monobob. That one shared with Brianna Walker. Alana Myers-Jones was here, Alana Myers-Taylor was here last year, but Kaylee Humphries wasn't. And as Kaylee said a couple of seasons ago when she went to Sigulda for the very first time, she said, isn't it amazing, no matter how long you compete, there's always something new to learn. And she'll be doing a lot of that here. There was paid training before the regular training runs, so she'll be trying to absorb as much as she can, and expect her to come back significantly stronger next week as well, with at least a week extra knowledge of the track. Well, there is the start list, 22 sleds, including Canada's debutante Erica Vos. She goes off in 22nd place, with Eden Wilson also making her World Cup debut. Race 6, the European Championships for the IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. First off in Lillehammer, Kelly van Petegem with her brakewoman Genty de Clare. Kelly 25, Genty 24. Kelly finished in 15th place in the monobob yesterday. This is her 8th World Cup start as a driver. Having made one as a brakewoman for Anne van Nieuwenhuis, who's now her coach. She will give us an indication of what the track looks like today. It's been hard and fast for 3 days of racing. Much colder overnight lows over the weekend than there were during the week. So the track has definitely changed in nature for our athletes. Looks the same, corners go in the same direction, sleds just run faster. That means recalculating everything on the way down. 120.2 kilometers an hour. Good speed all the way down so far. Not a bad looking run at all from Kelly van Petegem, 52.94. Well, this is her first World Cup outing on the track, but she's had 5 Europe Cup races here over her learning career. So she does know the track. It'll be fairly familiar territory. And that gets us underway. Start record 5:32. Kelly started 5:58. We might be close to start record territory today with some of our quicker athletes. And a 51.64 downtime. That was a 52.94, so 1.3 seconds away. Exit corner 13, a little late and rocky. You'll see a lot of that. So, first run done for Kelly. 2 sleds won't get a second heat. That should be good enough to put her into the race. Next up, Deborah Annan. World Cup best result in St. Moritz. Finished in 7th place. She's had 3 Europe Cup races on this track as well. Great woman Mara Morel in her 14th World Cup start. And it's a 4th in the women's bob for Deborah Annan. 5:50 getaway. Finished firmly in the top 10 yesterday, in the top 6 in the European Championship results as well. Ooh, a little skidding around, drifting along the wall from 4 to 5. Get cleanly onto the Labyrinth. 6 looked okay, Labyrinth is decent. Little late flops. And again, late flop there off 11 and off 12. Off 10 and 11 rather, and off 12 and off 13. Whistling past the cameras. 130.2 kilometres an hour. Just a whisker below the speed of Kelly van Petegem, but a good first run, 52.45. Three previous races this season, 10th on her debut in Winterberg, 7th in St. Moritz and 14th in Innsbruck. Sort of got in. She's a long-rangey athlete, not the easiest to fold those legs in. And again, that shot out of 13. Everybody's coming late off there. So 2 down, 20 to go. Next up is Brianna Walker, yesterday's joint winner in the monobob. She's got Chiara Rodingius behind her again. 17th World Cup race together for Brie and Chiara, of the 28 now that Brie has started. Finished in 5th place together last year. Her World Cup best is a 4th place finish in women's bob. 5:43 getaway. And the 1100s off the start record. That might be in danger. .600s up. Just losing a little early on to Deborah Annan. Only the 3rd highest speed. Doesn't seem to be... Oh! Trying to hold on for speed out of corner 13. And came off too late. You see, I was going to say, she doesn't seem to be quite adjusting to the speed of the track. And then Deborah Annan was late everywhere as well. There's a bobsledder, knows exactly how to get a sled stopped. A little tap away, came in sideways into 13, big height, and that's the view into 13, into the ditch, and then gets pushed back up again. There's no coming back from that. Didn't steer away, it was just happening too fast. That's a 75-mile-an-hour crash. Well, there'll be a 5-minute track hold. Both Brie and Chiara Rodingius were in the cow. Well, Chiara's sort of half out, so hopefully she's got a Burns vest on. He had a battered and bruised. Mick Walker looks like she's okay. Yeah, Chiara might have some bruising, and this is why Burns vest is so important, because crash can happen at any stage. Well, it's a worrying sight for everybody. I know her dad will be watching back home. She looks to be okay. Get a couple of days off now to rest and recuperate and go again next week. And I'm sure she will be glad of the opportunity to do so. You don't want to leave a track with your last memory of it being the crash. Just slushing in some of the gaps. As the sled's upside down, it tends to do a lot more damage to the track than the runners do. That's an expansion joint. That's because of, obviously, with a solid concrete track, if it's solid all the way down and it gets a lot of heat on it in the summer, it'll buckle. Well, there they are. Tough day at the office. Up early, freezing, flipping cold, warming up in the parking lot and get bounced on your head. And that really is the other side of the coin of sport, isn't it? Yesterday, gold medal winner in the monobob with Keisha Love. So it's not like she can't drive this track. Just sled got away from her through 11 and 12 and never came back in 13. So literally from hero to zero in 24 hours. That's tough. But they've been there before, and they will come back again. So getting ready to get our race underway. Nerves might be jangling a little for our next duo. Kim Kilicki, the driver, Leonie Fiebig in the back. It's a fearsome combination, this duo. Once Leonie gives Kim the afterburner she needs, she can really drive up a storm. Kilicki finished in a tie for 10th place yesterday. The monobob, not her favoured discipline. Now, after an unexpected halt, getting themselves ready to go. 38th World Cup start for Kilicki, 29th for Leonie Fiebig. 23 medals the brakewoman has earned in 28 races, and predominantly with Kilicki. Has made herself really Kim's go-to choice on the back of the sled. Such a strong combination at the start, and last year's race winners. Some motivational chat from the sidelines. Let's see what we've got. Our current leader is Deborah Annan. Back underway in Lillehammer with Kim Kilicki and Leonie Fiebig, 5:43 getaway. Same as Brianna Walker and Kira Rodingius. And after a 5-minute track hold, following the Aussie crash, Kilicki must get ahead absolutely into top gear, not just for performance, but also for safety's sake. When you're travelling at north of 75 miles an hour on this track, you need to have your wits about you. It is quick, it is slick, and very fast at the moment. Best speed of all, nearly 122 Ks. Kilicki easing away from Deborah Annan. Across the line, 2600s up, 52.19. That shows what a good run Deborah Annan had. Kim Kilicki, last year's winner, 2600s quicker. At least Deborah will not be hanging around at the tail of the field. Whoa, is Kilicki okay? What happens when she gets in? Looks all right. Sort of lands on the back of the seat. Leni Fiebig's already loading as Kim is still trying to wriggle herself in. She had a calf injury last year, and Kim is not standing well on that ankle. That is not good news. At least they got a couple of weeks, 3 weeks before the World Championships. Next up, Laura Nolte, 40th World Cup start for Nolte, our Olympic gold medalist, World Cup champion, and 3-time European gold medalist. She's got Leni Kluvig behind her. Kluvig in her second ever World Cup race, made her debut in Sigulda. She had one previous race before that with one of the development pilots in the junior worlds and was whisked straight into the World Cup squad. Clearly somebody had their eyes open. Good start, they're ahead by 1300s off a 5:38 getaway. I think that indicates maybe that Kim Kilicki had a little bit of a twinge before the start of the day's action, but went for the start anyway. On to late off 13, like everybody. Little square hit on the run down to 14, out of 15, into 16. That strange chattering of the sled that we hear occasionally. Okay, what's up with that? What is it that's flapping around? Is it a paddle on the sled? Is it something inside? Obviously couldn't be a movable aerodynamic device, because those aren't allowed. Little hug, Laura Nolte and Leni Kluvig. Bronze medalist yesterday in Monobob. Laura was the European champion. Again, a little late. 10, 11, 12 and 13. That's a problem that's afflicting everybody. So, 5 sleds down, it's Laura Nolte from Kim Kilicki and Deborah Annan. Katy Bile of Austria with her new Jamaican brakewoman, Christania Williams. 4x100 Olympic silver medalist in Rio and World Championship bronze medalist in London. Made her debut in Innsbruck. 5:43 getaway. Being a Jamaican, knew nothing about bobsleigh. Didn't even know that cool runnings was a thing. Mind you, there's a whole generation that probably don't know cool runnings these days. That's a disgrace. Fourth best speed for Katy Bile. 2300s back for the Austrian. Needs to start to turn that around, reduce the gap a little. Second best speed, here we go. Not a bad exit out of 13. Holds the line nicely in 15. Cross the line she comes, 3/10 back, 52.41. Two times European Championship bronze medalist in her career, Katy Bile. Finished 13th yesterday, but 8th place in the women's bob last season. Into 15. So the way she's tucked up right at the cow, whereas her helmet will be almost where the brakewoman's is in the monobob, which is the same size sled. From Romania, Andreea Grecu and Teodora Vlad. Andreea and Teodora, 13th here last year. Andreea, European silver medalist in women's bobsleigh in Sigulda 2020. Lost out to Nadezhda Sergeva by a couple of hundredths of a second. 52nd World Cup start, and the 22nd together with Teodora, 27th together with Teodora, in fact. in and down. 7th fastest start. They are the 7th sled. Didn't look like the smoothest load for Andrea either. It's a fairly short start ramp. You have to get the speed in and get in quickly. It's not a marathon start like La Plan. It feels like you're starting a triathlon. 2200s back at the start. Out to nearly 7/10 the gap now. 5th best speed. Smooth exit out of 13. Maybe that's because she's going a whisker slower than some of our front runners. Across the line though, 52.97, 6th position. And of course, because of the crash of the Aussies, Brianna Walker and Kira Rodingius, everybody will suddenly pick up a place down below 13 on the split times, because Brianna was quick up to there. That's why it took her a long time to get in. Don't always see everything in real time. Slipped and tripped. Oh, just got herself in. Fiesta's there on the left-hand side. He'll have some good photos of that later, the IBSF photographer. Wow, Andrea. Does Theodora know how close she got to disaster there with her driver not getting in? I don't know what you'd do then. Would you try and drive, or would you try and jump out while it's still, you know, corner 1 or 2? Let the sled get on with it. A little bit of a delay there before Melanie Hasler and Nadia Pasternak get going. Nadia's 30th World Cup race. Her 3rd back since having a baby Noeli in December 2023. And Melanie, European bronze medalist 2024, silver medalist 2023. She was the European silver medalist in Monobob yesterday with a 4th place finish. 5:41 getaway. It's a good, strong start. And Nadia Pasternak and baby Noeli here on tour with her husband. So Roman Heinrich being on tour actually makes life a little easier for the family. 300s back at the start, 2300s back here. Deborah Annan is 4th at the moment, and Melly Hasler is ahead of her. Was 3rd on the splits from the 2nd fastest start. Behind Annan at the line by 500s. There's a strong start. Nadia Pasternak happy with that. Well, it didn't look like a bad run. I wonder whether the runner choice is quite right for the conditions, but yeah, she's a little perplexed as well. I thought she had more speed. It looked like more speed than that. And if it looks good, but the speed is low, then you start to look at the runners. Back together again, Margot Bock and Carla Seneschal, their 13th World Cup together. It's Margot's 20th start. They started their career together in Europe Cup. Last time they raced together a month ago in Samaritz. Cycling through the break women, keeping them all fit and healthy. 5:56. So 7th best start. Margot drove well again yesterday in the Monobob. Smooth looking lines. Second heat wasn't quite where she needed it to be. This is not bad looking. Now you remember from yesterday her French liveried sled, lots of blue and red. This in the colours of Monaco. This is the sled that Boris Vian habitually drives. So the French and the Monegasque working hand in hand. Slipping out to 8th place at the moment. And across the line in 8th place, 52.98. A little perplexed look on the face of coach Bruno Mijon there as well. So not just Melanie Hasler, but Margot Bock perhaps not finding the speed that she expected to. Sun starting to come up through the trees. Nice exit out of 13. Not too much of a flop. Gets a little tap. Straightens the sled up nicely for 14. And here in corner 15, see Carla bent double, clinging onto 2 tiny little metal brackets down on the frame. They're basically bent over bolts, that's all you've got to hang on to. That's why it's so hard to stay in the sled if it goes over and your body weight's trying to pull you out. Well, I wonder who this is. Alana Myers-Taylor has Jasmine Jones behind her today. 16th World Cup start for Jasmine. She's been with Kaylee and then Alana in the last 2. Keisha, she was due to push 4 in the Samoritz race that didn't happen. There's Jazz at the back. Again, looks like a slight track hold. Alana's been around the block more than once. In fact, in women's bobsleigh, her 101st World Cup race alone. So that's 86 as a driver, 15 as a push athlete. Hands tucked under her armpits, trying to keep them warm in this bitter cold. Peter Fisher in the background. IBSF jury. Waiting to hear what the delay is all about. Track official on the phone there, on the left-hand side.
Come on, here we go.
And the coats come off again, so it looks like we are ready to go.
Hard up, big push. Come on.
Slight delay, not enough to put off Alana. Finished in 6th place here last season. Slightly off form 7th position yesterday in the mono. 5:47 getaway. Alana Myers-Taylor and Jasmine Jones. 6th fastest start. Let's see what Alana can do, driving this new MUSA sled, built in Lake Placid by Mark Vandenberg. And both Alana and Kaylee Humphries have been very positive about the way the sled feels, the way that it goes. Hugely encouraging after years of success with Bodine and moving through BMW and more recently buying BTC sleds from Latvia. Now the USA has its own program again. Across the line, 5th position. She was up to 4th on the split. Shana Roebuck looks relatively pleased with that. 3600s back, 200s out of 4th, 600s out of 3rd. Little hit from 12 to 13, brings it nicely out of 13 though. See the articulation that's right around the middle of the driver's legs that allows the front to be going in a different direction or at a different angle, let's say, than the rear. So like independent suspension, although it's not actually suspension. So 800 separate the top 2 and then a massive battle behind for what is currently 3rd place. Keisha Love of the USA, yesterday's joint winner in the Monobob, with Lolo Jones behind her. 22nd World Cup for Lolo, the world champion in 2021 with Kaylee Humphries, returning to the fold this year. 13th World Cup start as a driver for Keisha Love. She already has 3 wins under her belt in the previous 12. 5:41 getaway. Just 300ths off the fastest start of Lauren Alter and Leonie Kluvig. Little tap, 4 to 5. Into the bright glare of corner 6. Yeah, a little high getting into the labyrinth, and that's going to cost her. Down through 10 and 11. Into 13. Hard hit on the exit. Waving in 15. Not as smooth a ride as she had yesterday in the mono. 7th at the line, 52.56. So she is 600ths behind Melanie Hassler and 900ths behind Alana Myers-Taylor. Alana in her, 86th race as a driver, and Keisha in her 13th, so giving away a bit of experience. And still just 900ths of a second behind. Look at the way the cow moves. It's just insane, isn't it? Slow motion shows you so much. So Keisha Love, Lolo Jones. Next up, Lisa Buchwitz and Kira Lipperheider. So finished 4th place last year. Lisa, our world champion in women's bobsleigh. Kira's 14th World Cup start. 2 wins and the silver with Lisa. Last race together, they had gold in Winterberg. She has been a bit of a lucky charm, mind you. There are a few lucky charms with Lisa Buchwitz. I wonder if it's Lisa. Who knows, maybe. Fastest start of all, 5:33. So they're in the lead by 500ths as they sit down over Lauren Alter. She's just edging away a fraction. Second best speed, high there at the beginning of the labyrinth. Sliding into 9, sliding into 10. Back of the sled doing a lot of steering here. And it's costing her time. And it has robbed her of vital speed. Tidy exit out of 13. There's not much wrong with her driving, is there? The sled setup might not be ideal. 3rd place, 2300ths back, 52.34. Now, is it her choice to have the sled as loose as that? Is that maybe a little further on the edge than she was expecting? In a team as big as Germany, you've got Marco the mechanic to help and advise, as well as all the coaches. You've got a good selection of runners to choose from. And so you set the sled the way that you want it to be in anticipation of how you think the conditions will be the next day. And then you find out when you get onto the ice whether you guessed right or not. Still a smile on her face. Lisa Buchwitz, 5th place yesterday, European bronze medalist. She lies in 3rd place, 3rd of 3 German sleds, and now 3rd of our US sleds.
Come on, Kaylee.
Kaylee Humphries with Emily Renner. Em's 14th World Cup, Kaylee's 126th as a driver, and her first ever in Lillehammer. Her first ever race in Lillehammer was yesterday. 5:52 the getaway. Gave birth to her son in the middle of the summer. Still working back to the supreme peak of fitness that she has had for the last decade. Fourth best speed. She bring this margin back. Decent exit out of 10, not too hard a hit. Out of 13, not too hard a hit. 6th best speed. 9th, is she going to be 8th place behind Keisha by 700ths. So starting 5:52, which is 1900ths behind Lisa Bukvitz's fastest start. Comes down 5200ths off the lead, and only 1900ths behind Bukvitz, having started 900ths behind her. Holds the line nicely in 15, like she's been doing it all her career. She knows ice. She'll know this ice a little better next week as well. Melissa Lott holds for Canada with Leah Walkenden. The North America's Cup champion Lott Holtz, returning to the World Cup after a couple of seasons away. 19th World Cup start as a driver. Her first in Lillehammer. She didn't come here as a push athlete either. First 10 races of Leah Walkenden's career with Cynthia Appiah. Last 5 now with Melissa Lott Holtz. Get away, 8th fastest. Slipping a little in the early run down to corner 6. 4th best speed though. This is very promising for Melissa Lott Holtz. Good speed early on. Can't buy that. 2nd best speed. Great exit out of 13. She's really hooked up here. 3400ths back. 5th best speed across the line. 8th place, 52.52. Lyndon Rush and Justin Cripps looking happy with that. And Melissa sounded happy with that as well. Felt good, I bet it did. She's ahead of Keisha Love, Kaylee Humphries, Kelly Van Petegem, Andrea Greco, Margot Bock and Brianna Walker. Oh, some very good lines early on through the labyrinth and down through corner 13. Giving a good speed, sideways from 12 to 13. And that robbed her of a bit of speed. That's why she went from 2nd to about 10th best speed. Nicely with her. That wasn't for you, Ilko. That was for the audience back home. Linda Wajszewski and Klaudia Adamek for Poland. Wajszewski 19th yesterday. It's her 10th Women's Bobsleigh World Cup and a 5th for her new brakewoman this season. Klaudia is one of Poland's fastest ever sprinters, a 4x100 world silver medalist, 4x200 world gold medalist. So she's got some speed in those legs. 10th fastest start, 5.50. A little to 11th on the splits, 12th on the splits. Poland's a relatively small sliding team. She may not have the widest choice of runners. Ice temperatures, other than St. Moritz, tend to be a little milder than they are here. And so most runners are sort of for the -2, -4, -6 sort of territory. 53.07. 10th at the start, only 14th place at the line. She's ahead of Brianna Walker, but behind Margot Bock. So that confirms that Margot Bock and everybody above her will get a second heat, because 2 will not. And at the tail of the field at the moment, Brianna Walker and Chiara Rodingius. And Linda Wyszewski and Claudia Adamek. Late exit out of 13. Just got away with that. Don't want to get any closer. For Canada, Cynthia Appiah and Skylar Sieben are our 16th starters. Cynthia got her first top 6 in the monobob this season yesterday. Finally, she said. 9th here last year. And if she can replicate that, that will be her first inside the top 10 this season. 10th place finish, and that was in the season opener in Altenburg. Skylar Sieben made her debut that day in Altenburg. Heptathlete and hurdler from the University of Arizona. Best start. Cynthia's going to have to drive herself into the top 10 here. It's her 31st Women's Bobsleigh World Cup start after 2 as a brakewoman. After second back, she's up to 12th place on the splits, 12th best speed, nice exit out of 13, really clean. That should help slingshot her down towards the bottom. Across the line in 11th, 52.85. Like most, last year it was her first time here. And she's in with a shout at the top 10. 2200s behind Kaylee Humphries, who is in 10th. And again, out of 12 into 13, tail drifting away. So she had to work it hard in 13. And cutting a lot of ice, although she got a clean exit, robbing her of that exit speed, scrabbling through the corner. 17th of our 22 starters is the USA's 4th sled. Sylvia Hoffman's got Bailey Golden behind her, Bailey's 3rd World Cup start. She too made her debut in Altenburg. That was with Keisha, Oklahoma State heptathlete, behind Sylvia Hoffman. Hoffman, the former push athlete. Sylvia tied for 10th in yesterday's monobob race. Last World Cup outing in Innsbruck was her season's best and career high of 7th place. And a 10th fastest start, 5:48. A very different sound to this sled compared to her teammates in the USA sleds, Alana and Kaylee. Little late exit. Big height, and oh, really in trouble on the exit of 13. Somehow got it off safely. I did fear that was going to be our second crash of the day. Wow, yeah, shot us all that, I think. 52.94. Well, 12th place off a 10th best start. Tied with Kelly van Petegem. But oh boy, 12.13 is putting the cat among the pigeons for a few of our athletes. Vaulting into the sled. Just got a hand on the cow. As Bailey Golden gets in behind her, but out of 13. Well, only a handful of World Cup races, only a handful of races full stop for Bailey Golden in the back. I wonder if she felt the warning signs. Yes, Ms. Hoffman, yes. Victoria Chernanska is our 18th starter with her regular brakewoman Lucia Makrosova. 15th World Cup start for the two. Youth Olympics silver medalist 2020 in St. Moritz. made their debut in Winterberg in January 2023. This is their second season together, coming to an end here in the next 2 weeks in Lillehammer. Best European Championship result, by the way, for Victoria Chinanska. 5th place in Altenburg 2023. Her best World Cup result, a 9th place finish this season. And that was in Sigulda. So this is a track that should go well for her. Raced here from her earliest days in the Omega selection races for the Youth Olympics and in Europe Cup. 18th at the start, still 18th on the splits. And one of the few athletes from the Youth Olympics in 2020 still competing. Across the line, 53.17, 17th place, so she picked up that spot at the end because she was travelling quicker than the Aussie sledder Brianna Walker. Well, she is at the tail of the field, so Linda Wajszewska of Poland now knows that she will definitely get a second heat. But for the team from Slovakia, they will have to wait and see what our remaining 4 crews can produce. 2 sleds will not get a second run. Only the fastest 20 go through into Heat 2. Lucia in the back, spreading her arms and shoulders as wide as possible to brace herself against the cow. Riding in a sled is an art form, a little bit like being a passenger on the back of a motorcycle. You make up a big part of the feel of the sled for the driver. So for Team GB, Adele Nicol, 8th World Cup race for Adele, and 4 as a push athlete, and behind her is the 20-year-old Kaya Placide, her 7th World Cup start. Raced with Nikki McSweeney on her debut in Innsbruck in December 23, and she's been with Adele since then. Silver medalist in Lake Placid as a driver. So Adele knows that on her day she has got what it takes. 5.62 getaway. Nice smooth early part of the run. 18th fastest start though. So she's still struggling for speed with that injured foot. 7th best speed in the sled. The sled was driven in yesterday's 2-man race by Adam Baird. Returned it the way he found it. I think probably got his deposit back. Up to 17th on the splits. Nice exit out of 13. Is she going to claw her way up into 16th? 15th? At the line, 14th place. Good run down at the bottom. 52.97. She built that speed nicely with a smooth run from the top of the track. Summer and winter athlete. She's a shot putter predominantly for Wales and bobsledder for Team GB. Finished in 11th place here with Kaya last season. Adele was feeling fitter at that stage. Her foot was definitely. Sarah Blizzard with Ashley Werner. Sarah didn't get a second run in yesterday's mono. Ashley, a former driver who returned after Beijing as a brakewoman. This is her 3rd World Cup as a push athlete. Competed in World Cups and World Championships, Ashley Werner, as a driver for Australia and in the Games. Race here in Europe Cup in 2023, Sarah Blizzard. Didn't race here last season. 5.72 the getaway. Now when they get down, 20 sleds will have completed their runs. only 2 to go, but only 20 go through. So she needs to try desperately to put herself ahead of Viktoria Černánska of Slovakia if she can. That'll give her a little bit of breathing space. She can't afford to be below 19th place at the line. She's 19th, ahead of fellow Aussie Brianna Walker. Did not get close to Viktoria Černánska. She was 3,500 behind the Slovakian driver, so 53.52. Is that enough? Well, she made the cut in Altenburg, didn't race in Sigulda, made the cut in Winterberg as well, but 23rd in Samoritz and 21st in Innsbruck. So she hasn't had a second heat in 2025. And again, that 12-13 transition, skating sideways from 12 into 13, had to haul it off a little bit. So 20 sleds down. Sarah on the left, Ashley on the right. Yingqing of China next up with Liu Chen behind her. Liv's 3rd World Cup start, raced in Samoritz, and she's done 2 Europe Cup races as well. It's only a handful of races. Yingqing raced here last year to 10th place, and that was her only appearance in Lillehammer, so less experienced than some of the newer, younger drivers. 5.72. Same start as we've just seen from Sarah Blizzard and Ashley Werner. So the battle is on to get into the race. 21st on the splits. Now if she doesn't crash, she will pick up 1 spot lower down from Brianna Walker. 21st is just going to do it now. 17th best speed. She might move up the order a fraction. Up to 20th place. So she is ahead of Brianna Walker, or ahead of Sarah Blizzard at the line, 19th. So she is ahead of Sarah Blizzard. So Sarah Blizzard and Ashley Werner are in the danger zone with 1 sled to go. Brianna Walker, even if she wanted to, would not get a second heat. They would be allowed to, despite the crash, because both athletes were in the sled. But they weren't quick enough upside down to make it into the field. Yingqing does. Missed the first part of the season, recovering from injury. Doesn't quite seem to be match fit yet either. Final sled on ice here in Lillehammer is a debutante, as she was yesterday in the Monobob. Erica Vos with Eden Wilson, another newcomer behind. So this is interesting because Erica is a former brakewoman turned driver. Eden Wilson is a former brakewoman and driver returning to braking. So 2 years ago, Eden Wilson was driving her own sleds in North America's Cup, as well as pushing in the 23-24 season. They get away quickly, 16th fastest start, 5.57 getaway. She's done 15 bobsleigh races as a driver, Erica Vos. Finished 20th in yesterday's Monobob race. 18th in the first heat. Whoa! It looked like it was getting away from her, and it did. And that's tough. Well, they have both had crashes before. As an athlete, it's part of the sport, and as a development driver, it is as well. The sled comes almost to a dead halt there. So Eden out to hold the sled. She knew what she was about, didn't she? Well, here, just getting a little late height. And then there's just nowhere to sort it out. Skidding down here through 10 and 11. Bosch. That's a hard one. Well, Eden Wilson was out. And sounded like Erica Voss was climbing out as well. Again, you can see Eden just clinging on inside the sled. It is actually perversely the safer place to be than out on the ice. They've got the sled ready. They could do a little help, maybe. Track worker or two. Well, that is the end of their day, so they don't go through, nor does Brianna Walker, who also crashed. But at the top of the pile, we have German domination of the podium. Lisa Buchwitz third, Kim Kilicki second, Lara Nolter with the lead of the race. So the Canadian sled is now out of the track. Lara Nolter, Kim Kilicki, Lisa Buchwitz, that is your top three, but it is basically Nolter versus Kilicki. Then Buchwitz fighting fires to hold off Katty Bile, who's fourth, Deborah Annan, who's fifth, Lana Myers-Taylor, who's sixth, Melanie Hasler, who's seventh, Melissa Lottholtz, who's eighth, Keisha Love, who's ninth, maybe even Kaylee Humphreys, who's 10th. It's going to be an interesting second heat. Tie for 12th. And the two sleds that crashed, Bree Walker and Erica Voss, will not go through into the second heat. So that's it for the first run of the day. We'll be back with sleds on ice at 10:30 local, 09:30 GMT, and that is 04:30 Ken Eastern, and that will be in 31 minutes from now. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.